How do you feel about the whole the way Travolta's been received, coming back, and I mean, in a way, well, Nick Cage, in a way, he's not coming back, but he's having his biggest.
Yeah, he was like a bit player that made it, that just made it really big all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm. I mean, both those guys have not rested in 2 years. They've gone back to back to back, collecting 10, 20 million.
Well, neither one of those guys spent 10 years telling everybody to go fuck themselves.
Yeah. But I mean, I think when you got the goods like you do, it could well come back to you too. I mean, how do you feel about I think more you can probably relate more to Travolta, his comeback.
I'd put it to you this way: it's a little different only because, like I said, I spent 10 years being as bad as I could be.
Oh, right.
And you could be in the rap business, like my buddy Tupac,
right,
dead. You could be as bad as you want to be in the music business,
mm-hmm.
but you can't be in the acting business.
Right.
I mean, look what it did. Look what it did to Brando.
Right.
It's just. I mean, he's the ultimate one who had all that ability,
mm-hmm.
and then just sort of despised it all.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of his reasons that you'd have to agree with him,
mm-hmm.
and there were other reasons that you go, hey, they're paying you, you know.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, at this point, for you, I mean, having
for me, okay.
I mean, for you,
getting there was a cakewalk. Okay.
Right.
Because it was all about hard work and just putting in the time.
Mm-hmm. And you had the talent.
And I had the talent. The second time back has nothing to do with talent.
Mm-hmm.
It has to do with their perception of me.
Mm-hmm. But would you say that you're willing to play ball this time?
Oh, fuck yeah.
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 So the character that you're playing is going to stay in the set, and you're going to
they can pay me at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I see.
I don't have an entourage anymore. I don't have the fucking. If they want me, they can talk to Francis Coppola and Terry Malick, and then they'll know what they get.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If they want to read about, all these bitter motherfuckers that write gossip columns or whatever you want to talk about, how crazy I am or whatever, they can believe that shit too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So the next time around, you're going to be grateful and.
Well, you know what? The way I look at it right now, I don't know if there's gonna. I don't know if there's gonna be another time around.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, could you talk a little bit more about that? I mean, that's, I'll be interested to hear why you say that.
You learn lessons, right?
Yeah.
And you grow from those lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, for me, for some reason, I always have to learn lessons the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, I always have to lose everything in life I love most
mm-hmm.
to learn a lesson.
Right.
And so, I don't know if it's tests,
mm-hmm.
but I know that I've learned my lesson.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned, the lesson of losing everything that means most to me, which doesn't have to do with acting.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I know how selfish and self-destructive I've been. So it's like they know the talent is there, but it's not about the second time around. Has nothing to do with talent.
Mm-hmm.
It has to do with somebody out there like Terry Malick or Adrian or somebody going to bat for me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's all. That's what it's going to take is one special guy, Cimino or Coppola, or Terry Malick or Adrian Lyne or Alan Parker, one of them guys, or some young dude out of film school,
mm-hmm.
to say, no, I want Mickey Rourke.
Mm-hmm.
There's a kid that I know that I grew up with someone real close to him out here,
mm-hmm.
and he's a big director out here.
Right.
And he had a project that could have brought me back in a heartbeat, right?
Right.
This guy wouldn't go to bat for me in 2 fucking seconds.
Really?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it isn't because he knows I don't have the talent. It's because he's going to take what's flavor of the month.
Right.
He's going to take what's safe.
Right.
He's not made out of the stuff, the metal,
mm-hmm.
that he's going to fucking put his balls over the fence for me.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe so it's going to take somebody who's going to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who that person is.
Mm-hmm. But are you also saying that they may not be that may not come around?
It may not come around. I've been on the bench now about 8 years.
Right.
I know my agent's name today. I know all fucking 5 of their names.
Right.
Where 8-9 years ago I didn't know any of their names.
Mm-hmm.
I call them once or twice a day.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, what's your sort of outlook for the future as far as I mean, you're looking at it as if if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I've learned my lesson in life.
I don't look at the future. It's like day by day right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's hour by hour, day by day. I think a lot has to do with just keeping my belief in myself that the tide will turn, and it's in God's hands.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in Mickey Rourke's hands anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I already seen what happened with it in Mickey Rourke's hands, and it wasn't a pretty sight.
Mm-hmm. But are you also saying that you're trying to live life as a better person, or that kind of stuff too?
I think a lot of that comes into play. I used to be a person that. Remember when I was a kid, I used to say the Lord's Prayer, and even when I was 7 years old, I would never say, "Forgive those who trespass against me."
Mm-hmm.
I used to leave that out up until about maybe 2 years ago,
and
then I started to think about. I was always a very vengeful person,
right,
and very unforgiving was my worst character trait as a human being. Is I was totally unforgiving.
Right.
But this goes back to when I was 16, 17 years old. I remember my 2 younger brothers getting punched or beaten or hit by some older guys. It took me a year. I tracked down 5 guys. And by the time I got done with the 5th guy or whatever, my younger brother turns to me and he goes, "Hey, Mick." I go, "What?" He goes, "You're sick." And I thought, well, wait a minute. If you guys weren't fucking smoking grass and fucking just being fucking, weak motherfuckers, you could have took care of this yourself. I wanted them to be hard.
Yeah.
So instead, it took me a year. But, when my brother said that to me, it made me go, wow, why do I do that?
Right.
I don't have time to make those same mistakes anymore. To be tracking people down or to be holding grudges. I think I got to let all the grudges, go.